Hi everybody and welcome to this stream. I must admit everything is going wrong this morning and things are driving me nuts. So we're just going to see what we can do today. But hi, my name's John Lacey and my attempt for today was to try and create some live stream assets actually on DaVinci Resolve in the Fusion tab. So I'm going to attempt to do that. Restream is driving me nuts, and I don't know what to do about it, and I spent a really long time trying to go live earlier, and it just didn't work at all, and now suddenly here I am. So I don't know what that's about. I'm told I need to sort of go in and, you know, check my firewall settings and stuff, but it's very, very annoying. Hello, Chantel. Good morning to you. I hope you're having a better morning than I am. And I kind of went 5 minutes live earlier than even the rescheduled event because I just wasn't convinced this would work at all. So I guess we'll find out on the various platforms if it's actually going to work today or not. But essentially, my goal for this morning is to try to make a bit of an animated banner in DaVinci Resolve. I don't know if this is going to work. It's a good morning for things not working, but let's just get stuck in and have a go. So I guess first of all, I've created my new project in DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to go to my project settings. I tend to work in 30 frames per second. There's no particularly deep and meaningful reason for that. I just find that it works. Chantel's just waking up from a late night, and you're on the other side of Australia, so it's probably much earlier in the morning. I'm imagining it's almost 10 a.m. here in New South Wales. But anyway, let's get stuck into our Fusion stuff. But again, it's coffee, content, a bit of chat. So if you are watching live, for the people that can find this stream, that would be amazing. I've scheduled all kinds of social media posts to the other version that didn't work, so you know that's not going to help us at all. But it is what it is. All right, so I'm going to drag a background node onto here. And again, I think I'll just go with the inspector. I think it's just the viewer itself. Okay, cool. That's going to work for me. So I've got my background node. I've got my media out, and I will just leave that like that. But what I'm going to do is I will make the alpha 0 because I do want this to be transparent. Essentially, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to actually import an image if I can. And again, I don't really know what I'm doing here, so just bear with me. Import. In fact, maybe I can just drag it and drop it on here. I'm not really sure. Okay, cool. All right, so while I'm here, I might as well drag on some other images that I want to play with as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag on this screenshot, and I'm going to actually bring that out to the background to create another merge. Essentially, this is just sort of the template in OBS that, you know, I'm on the left-hand side and Sam's on the right-hand side. I just want this for a bit of spacing, and I will get rid of this before I export it. But I just want that as a bit of a guide. So essentially what I want to do... Okay, so Chantel's in Brisbane. Okay, so just a little bit earlier. Okay, no worries. I know, I don't think Queensland does daylight savings, or at least that's a rumor I've heard. I don't know if it's actually true, but anyway, I hope you're having a good morning. I don't know if you drink coffee, but actually, I know you do drink coffee because I've seen you drink coffee on your stream. So anyway, I hope you are well caffeinated this morning. But what I kind of want to try to do here, and again, I haven't really planned this out too much, I want to see if I can bring in some sort of object. I probably should have planned this a little bit better. In fact, let's bring out. So that's a rectangle. That's a rectangle mask. So probably what I need to do is actually drag in another background, and let's make this a specific color. And I don't really know what this color should be yet, so I'm just going to pick something at random. We can change it later. And from here, I'll drag this down to this one, maybe. I don't know if that's going to actually work. Maybe it won't work. Maybe I need to merge it first. Okay, there we go. That worked. Okay. So Definitely need more coffee. Yes, that's incredibly relatable. I can certainly relate to that one. So now that I've got my backgrounds and my rectangle, what I kind of want to do, so that's the rectangle mask. And I haven't, okay. So what I need to do, if I can, and I'm not sure if I can because I don't really know what I'm doing and I should really learn this. So maybe I want to do it the other way around. Maybe I want to apply the mask before. Okay, try that. And back into the merge. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. It took me long enough, but there we go. Okay, so now in the rectangle, I want to sort of decide how large I want this to be. So again, it would be so useful for me to just do this in pixels, which I understand, but I don't know that that's actually an option here. So let me just see if I can't. Okay, so I can just drag and drop it like that. So what I really want to do is just have a colored bar. And again, I probably need to size it and then change the position of it. So if I go for the, it's probably too much. So if I go, okay, so 0 is definitely way too much. So maybe 10, 11. Okay. I like the idea of that actually. So the width, and I guess if I go, if I just put a 1 in here, I think that will fill the frame. Okay, yes, that fills the frame. That's a good thing to know. So the height, which already has a value, but I'm just going to bring my mouse cursor down, although it's quite potentially a long way to go. So this is let's just play with some numbers here. We'll go 0.25. That I kind of like actually. So let's one 5. I'm sure there's a much more elegant way of doing this, but I just don't know what it is. So there we go. I can probably just drag and drop this somehow. Okay, no, that'll bring it in. I think that's probably close enough anyway. That's fine for my purposes. So what I will do is I will bring in this rather pompous photo of myself, and we will merge that into Merge 2. And I want to move this. And again, I'm sure if Saeed was even aware of this new event, he would be here and he would tell me how to do this properly, but he's not. So I'm just going to have to figure it out myself. But in terms of maybe positioning, let's just go. There we go. I think that's a pretty good way of doing that. I can adjust that later if I want. So again, nudge this down a little bit. And I don't know, I probably gonna make that a little bit larger. Because I guess the thing I'm really going to appreciate about this kind of working is because I can export an image with a background that is transparent, it can potentially be on top of other elements within the stream. So I think that's okay for the moment. I'm going to have to think about how to actually animate all of this, which is going to be interesting too. So let's bring this image down to the nodes, and we will might move the media out a little bit, make it a little bit more cleaner. And drag that to the output of that one. Oh, okay, I did that wrong. So down here. Okay. And that is actually huge. So let's bring down the size for starters. In fact, That might be okay. And again, I've got to work in smaller increments than this. Okay. I very clearly need to watch more tutorial videos so I know what I'm doing. But anyway, that's fine. Let's just roll with it for the moment. And I guess the thing that hadn't really occurred to me is that because of the transparent backgrounds, maybe I can even have these elements sort of off this, you know, above the backgrounds. Like maybe the background isn't actually that important in the scheme of things. So it could even be, I don't know, maybe I need to adjust the size of this a little bit more. So maybe something in between. There we go. It is sort of interesting working with these kinds of numbers because they're all relative values to the canvas as a whole. So, you know, to go up one or down one is a whole other thing. I guess the thing that's becoming incredibly apparent to me right now, though, is that this background probably needs to be a different color. And again, I should probably go back to my brand colors and do this properly. But again, while I'm learning, let's just pick something at random. Maybe a dark blue would be a good idea. So if we go back to there, I do kind of feel like maybe this media here, and I've got something different in the, yes, that's a great comparison, like rem in CSS. So those relative values. And again, if you're a person of a certain age in web design, you'll remember the old days of pixels and when they actually designed websites in Photoshop, which still kind of hurts my brain a little bit to think about because you kind of, the whole point about web documents is that they flow and you don't really want to work in those exact numbers. But yes, that's a really good comparison. And hello to Business Growth Ready. Thanks for being here. I realize I promoted the other version of the stream and I had all kinds of technical issues with Restream and I don't know what's going on there and it's driving me nuts. And I'm reaching a point where I'm thinking I probably need to just, I need to figure it out or I need to just let it go, one or the other. And I'm not really sure which right now. Okay. All right. So I guess the other thing that I've just learned, like literally just now, is that the media and the merge settings are different. And probably what I need to be looking at is the merge settings. So again, if I think about making this number a little bit smaller, so let's maybe go, I don't know, 0.125 and adjust this Y value. And I really should have spent some time actually designing this properly, but you know, I'm learning, so just bear with me. And let's see if we can bring this down a little bit too. So maybe, no, it's a little bit too far away. Even that's okay, I think. So we've got that there. I do want to bring in a text plus node. So let me drag that over here. And I guess the other thing too is I really should be going back in and sort of, naming these things properly. So if I go rename, which is F2, and I'll say banner. And again, like you probably don't need to do this, but if I ever want to look back at this project and try and figure out what it actually is, I can go from here. Business Growth Ready is saying front page, then very, very quickly moved to Macromedia, Fireworks, and Dreamweaver. Yeah. I had a very similar. I don't know that I did too much in front page, but I certainly used Flash and Fireworks and even Flash back when it was Macromedia, and then a bit of Dreamweaver. So we've got that there. I've got my text node. I'm just going to write johnlacey.com. Again, we can't see it because I haven't actually connected it to the merge, so let me do that quickly. I've done that wrong. Let me try that again. Okay, cool. All right, so we go back to the text, and I guess that's the thing that I've literally just learning today is that there are properties for the media itself, whether that's text or image or whatever, and the merge itself. So what I'll do now is if I go to Open Sans, telling me that my audio died, and it seems to be the case that that was the thing that happened, which seems to be a great morning for just everything going wrong. So hopefully you can hear me now with an alternate audio source. Let me know in the chat. That would be really appreciated. I was literally just complaining that my neighbors started using power tools. And then we just lost audio for no reason. So I genuinely have no idea what's happening today. It is very, very frustrating, but and hopefully you can't hear that whippersnipper or whatever the hell it is in the background. Oh dear. So sometimes I'm like, live streaming is the greatest thing on earth, and other times I'm like, I just need to record and edit videos offline. Like there are just so many things that can go wrong. It's just mind-bogglingly annoying. Anyway, getting back to this little project that I'm trying to sort out. Oh dear. So now I've sort of got the different elements here on my screen. I've got the logo, I've got the website address, which I might even, like looking at that, I kind of want to bring that down a little bit anyway. Not that much, evidently. Maybe. And yeah, so what I want to do is I want to think about how I might edit these things. And animate these things, I suppose is the word I'm looking for, really. Okay, so I probably this is probably going to be a pretty quick animation. So, and these are my frames. I probably could do a bit of math here. So 30 frames per second. Let's say that we want to make this, I don't know, 10 seconds long. I always do that math and then I'm like, you know, you didn't need to do that math. That was a really easy thing to do. Look, what I might do, let's just arbitrarily pick a point in here. And I can sort of adjust it later. What I will do, and I'll see if I can do this for all the merges together, because I think here, all I really want to do to start with is just move them from off screen to on screen. So we're at this sort of 70 frames moment. I will click that there. And then I'll go back to what I think is 0. And then in here, I kind of want to just, and I don't think it's going to let me do that in one go. So maybe I need to think about that a little bit more. But if I go maybe, I don't know, -1. I might even just do that for all of them. Let's just go -1. And now if I hit the play button, only one of those things actually works. So there we go. Let's undo all of that then. I guess the thing is I could probably merge all of this into a single merge. And that would probably make sense. Like I should probably group that. If that's all I'm going to do, if I right click and group, and then can I animate the group though? Because that'll be the next question. And I don't think I can. I can animate the merge. So I don't know if I can put in another merge just for the hell of it. Perhaps, but that's not where I wanted that to be. I want it to be before it. So I bring in this merge and I say, okay, let's bring that in there. Let's bring this over here. And now let's just bring that here. And all I'm going to animate is that property. So we're going to leave that there. I'm going to hopefully go back to my first frame and just go -1. Did that really not do anything at all? Okay, I mean, it's moving the merge, but it's not moving the group. So there's clearly something I think it's because, yeah, okay. So let's get rid of this connection. Not like that, evidently. Because really, what I want, I don't want the merge to go in here. I want this to go to the merge. So maybe it's this one up here. I'm not really sure. I want it to go in the other direction. So maybe I need to even put that in. No. I have no idea what I'm doing, so that's always exciting. And I'm almost out of coffee. And this is probably something I could have learnt in a YouTube video a little while ago and it would have been fine. But evidently that's not how we roll. So what I really want to do, I want this to go here. And I kind of want this group to go into here somehow. I'm not really sure how. That's not it, I don't think. No, definitely not. All right, I got nothing. Oh, geez. Learning new stuff is hard and depressing. So let's see if we can ungroup this. Let's get rid of this merge. Actually, I guess at the end of the day, I've got 2 images and some text. So maybe I need to merge those rather than group those. And let's get rid of that one. Let's get rid of that one. Okay, doesn't look like that's going to work either. That is so irritating. All right, let's just do it the hard way. It's the only way. It's the only way that's going to work. Well, I mean, I say that it's probably not going to work, but that's okay. Let's just go with it. It is what it is. So that's that merge. Again, I think I'm picking like the 60 mark. Turn that keyframe on. We'll leave that where it is because it's kind of where we want it to be. And then we'll come back to the Y. We'll go -1. And we'll do that with the text as well. Which I think is this one actually. Yeah, that merge there. Go back to 60. Turn that on, go back to 0. -1. And I guess I need to do that for the, well, I don't necessarily need to do that for the banner. I could do that for the banner. I guess kind of, let's do something slightly different for the banner. For the banner, I will go to 60. I'll turn on the same coordinates and I'll go back to 0. But what I'll do is I'll actually adjust the Y coordinate. So we'll go -1 here. And now I'm going to hit the play button and we'll see what happens. Okay, that's not terrible. I mean, I probably want to adjust the timing a little bit and maybe I want to bring in some things at a different speed. But that's kind of a workable solution. I don't think that's, that's a starting point for someone who's never made one of these before in their life. Let's go to the merges and I'm going to bring on, I'm in the spline editor now. And this is essentially the thing that, and it doesn't look like I can actually merge these all in the same way, but that's okay. Zoom to rectangle. Okay. So what I'll do, and I might do this for all of them, I will select both of those points, and I think it's the S key. And rather than sort of being completely angular, hello Garen, didn't see you there. He writes Fusion scares me. It scares me a little bit too, but I'm trying to learn it. Bless yourself for trying this. And also, if you hadn't had the opportunity, and I don't think many people did, Garen did some karaoke on his channel the other day, which was delightful. And Kiki is saying, I haven't even tried using Fusion yet. So, yeah. And Chantel's saying that's looking like an animated overlay. So that's kind of the dream. So hopefully we're getting there. And I'll turn that off as well. And I'm just going to... All I'm going to do, I'm just going to select each of these and I'll do one at a time because, I don't know, it's just how I roll. And I'm probably even animating a merge for the first thing that we don't really need to animate, but it won't matter for our purposes. It's fine. Okay, it's a solid first effort. So now if I turn off the spline editor and I can sort of reposition this and we go play. I don't know why it's starting from the beginning, but anyway, let's try that again. Play. So it'll bring that in and then it'll disappear. And I could sort of animate the exit, and maybe we will do that. I'll see how I feel in a second. But I guess the other thing I kind of want to do, and I'm not really sure, and again, I feel like Saeed would know the answer to this if he was here, which I don't think he is, which is fine because it's like, it's the middle of the night in Germany, so I don't really expect him to be here. But I guess the other thing too, like this banner is a background. And I just select, it just defaulted solid color, but I can actually sort of do different gradients as well. So even like the 4 color, I can come in here and I can say, okay, we'll have different shades of gray. I don't know if shades of gray is necessarily the way to do it, but I think you can already see it sort of shaping up to be a bit of a gradient there. So that may make it a little bit more dynamic as well. We've got sort of a horizontal gradient, which is just 2 colors. We've got a vertical, which is the same, but in the opposite direction. The 4 color or the solid color. I think what I want to do though, is if I go into effects, and this is where it'll probably get a little bit dicey because I don't really know what I'm doing here. Wait, I say that. I haven't known what I'm doing since I started the stream. But let's have a look at some of these effects because there might be something cool in here that's worth trying. So I don't really want to play with any of those, but maybe like even the blur might be a good one. A trick, of course, will be figuring out where exactly to put this. And I feel like it probably needs to come between the banner and the merge. So if I move that to here, I want to say, and then move that one down to the merge again. It's clearly not working. Let's think about this for a second. So the output comes from here. And the blur comes in here. I feel like there's a key on the keyboard that if I press and move it in here, it should interrupt that flow, but I don't know what it is. Chantel's saying press save, lol. I mean, the thing about this is it kind of like it saves automatically, which is good in some ways. But I don't know. Can I, yeah. So what I mean, I could, yeah, I'm just going to go Control S. Let's save it. That's fine. Again, I'm only learning, so it doesn't really matter how badly we stuff this up. It'll be fine. So what I'll do is if we go out of the banner into the blur, and I actually think it's probably because the blur size is just, you know, more than it perhaps needs to be. But if I put this, I'm just not sure which of these I'm supposed to be connecting. In fact, let's undo this and let's just see what it looked like. So the green goes to the merge. Okay. So now I feel like, maybe the blur isn't the thing that we should be trying with. Maybe that's, yeah, let's get rid of the blur. But let's, again, I kind of want to just play with some of these effects, and I'm not really sure, and I feel like some of these are actually Fusion specific things. But let's, like, I guess let's work with something that might be a little bit more obvious. So if I bring the shadow over here, and I suspect if we look at these settings, it almost looks like there's a shadow underneath it already, but I think that's just because of the gradient underneath it. So if I go from here to here, okay, it actually changed that for me, so it probably knows better than I do at this point. Okay, that's not gonna help. All right. Clearly I need to go and do a little bit more study. But again, I guess conceptually, as funny as it probably is just to laugh at my stupidity, we've been able to bring things onto the timeline here. And the thing about this is if I just, like, if I get rid of this placeholder and we go and export this as a video clip. And I will say presentation muscle animated. I will tell it where to save this stuff, and I might even do it. Where should I do it? Okay. And the thing about this is I have been using QuickTime uncompressed, although I noticed and I did run an update of DaVinci Resolve, which again, every time I have to update this software, I need to download 3 gigabytes of software. So just keep that in mind. But essentially, all I really want to do is just make sure, and I'm not really sure where this is, but I guess we'll try and figure it out together. I just want to make sure we preserve that transparency. And I have a weird feeling this is probably, I feel like it might have been one of those, but I don't really remember. In fact, the last time I did this, I did take some screenshots. So let me just see if I can recreate what I did previously. This must be like the most the most unhinged thing you guys have ever watched. But anyway, that's okay. So previously what I did was I clicked, okay, so I went QuickTime and I actually went uncompressed from here. And I should say uncompressed creates insanely large files. And I suspect there's probably another option in here I could go with. But for my purposes, I'm going to export this file and I'm going to use the B grade 8-bit type. And I want to export the alpha as well. So I'm pretty sure that's a setting here somewhere, that one there. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do, I'll add this to the render queue. I'm going to render this. And it does create these insanely large files. And the thing is, I only use the file long enough to convert it. And what I have been doing is using Shutter Encoder. So let me drag this over to a screen you can actually see it. Again, I don't know if it's just me, but every piece of software on my computer is dark mode and they all look the same. And I just can't even tell things apart anymore. It's ridiculous. But anyway, let's go back into my download, my documents, and go to my banner folder because that's where I save this. I'm going to drag this over to Shutter Encoder. And I want to go to, I want to say WebM, I think is what we used last time. It's probably staring me right in the face somewhere. Okay, so no, sorry, it was VP9. And I bring this over here, and then we just make sure it's WebM. Yep, okay, cool. I will do that. I will go start function. And it is done. And just to give you a sense of the difference between these two files, the QuickTime uncompressed is 1.15 gigabytes, and the WebM is 344 kilobytes. It is tiny. It is it's insane. And clearly I don't need that kind of quality, but it is what it is. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go into OBS. I can't really show you this, but just take my word for it. I'm going to grab my media source and I will say build a presentation muscle. I'll call it promo. And click OK. I'm going to go and find this in OBS, which I saved in my documents. Documents, banner, WebM. Okay, so local file, there's an option to loop it, but I'm going to restart it when play becomes active. And if I click OK now, it didn't do the alpha, so that's a problem. I clearly, okay, I know why actually. Let me try that again. let's go back to the screen share. I forgot one simple step. So we're in here and we've got this here. But what I actually need to do is I need to go into the advanced features and I need to enable alpha channel, which is right behind my head there. If you can see that, I will go and save function. It says, do you want to override the file? I will say yes. Okay, brilliant. I probably don't even need to update that because I use the same file name again, but I might just do it for the hell of it. So now let me go back to just me without the screen share. Now if I turn toggle the visibility of this promo, it's still not alpha. What is going on? All right, I might remove that entirely because there could be a caching issue here. But VP9 WebM enable alpha channel. Okay, I'm just going to try it again because I know it worked last time, so I'm clearly doing something wrong, which is fine. That's what it is. And I will go okay. I will find my file again. There we go. So it's just cached from the last version. And the great thing about that is because I literally can just toggle the visibility of that, and ultimately I could set up a button on a Stream Deck to do that for me. But now I can go, ta-da, and that'll pop up. So Chantel's asking, have you tried the uncompressed version? I have actually, and I'm surprised, and admittedly this is the point at which I have to disclose I have a very souped up computer, and I've paid more money for this computer than I have either of the 2 secondhand cars I've owned in my life. So I won't give you an exact number, but it seems to handle a lot of things pretty well. So I've just updated this to the uncompressed QuickTime version. I will toggle the visibility on and we'll see if this goes slow or fast. Works about the same. And I mean, it doesn't look any different, but I think in some ways, because there's such a huge difference in the file sizes, I would definitely sort of recommend doing the WebM. And the thing about the Shutter encoder is it's completely free, and I believe it's Windows and Mac as well. So we've got that on there. I know, like, it wasn't a particularly elegant way of me learning live on stream, but I think it's probably relatable. So when you're screaming at your computer, you can at least know, hey, John made all those mistakes as well. But yes, now I've got a lovely banner that I can show on the stream. And again, this is probably not the version I will stick with until the end. I will probably make a lot of changes, but I just wanted to try that conceptually because this is the second one I've done live, but it's probably only one of 6 that I've ever done in my entire life. So I'm learning and we'll figure it out together. And Chantel writes, I'm all about learning live on stream. Yes, and I believe you're looking at vMix tomorrow. So if you want to check out Chantel's channel on YouTube, that will be really interesting. I've never really played with vMix, so that'll be very interesting indeed. Kiki writes, love the live learning. Yes, it can be fun. It can be character building. But I think that the big thing about live is at some point you will make all the mistakes live, and you kind of just have to roll with it, for better or for worse. So yes. And I guess getting back to Fusion, now that I've kind of got my my basic template here, like, it would be very easy for me to sort of switch out these images and have different ones for, like, Sam has his EV Mux. Sorry, I inflated those because I saw the letters MX in both of them, vMix and EV Mux. Sorry, that's my mistake. So yeah, you can check out EV Mux. Again, another one I've never actually played with, but is definitely worth checking out potentially. and Chantel will do it for you, so you don't need to go in blind. But the great thing about this is I can sort of save this probably as a different project, and I could say, I don't know, just Kitten Around, which is Sam's podcast. I could come here. He uses sort of a yellow, yeah, sort of a bright yellow, I think, from memory. So I could, and again, it's probably not the color. I should probably go and look it up for real. I probably want to change the text to actually be black because it's going to be nigh impossible to look at on that particular background. But I can say, hey, go to Cute Avalanche. Again, I'm not super prepared to actually do this in real time, but in fact, if I go to Sam's website in a different tab, that's probably the thing to do. So we'll go to cuteavalanche.com, and I'll see if I can copy. I can just save a copy of this of his podcast artwork, and probably replace me with the cat itself. So if I go to somewhere on here, and admittedly, I don't think either of us have done many podcast episodes in a while, so it's probably it's probably not not a lot of stuff to work with or promote necessarily, but it is what it is. So if I go to, I don't know, Apple Podcasts, for example, let me just see if I can grab his artwork. Yep, okay, cool. So, and I'm doing this on a screen you can't see, so just bear with me. And it's going to be a web P format, which will be interesting because I don't know if that'll work here, but I guess we'll find out together. All right. So, and Chantel saying vMix is great, very heavy duty and Windows only. Okay. Yeah, again, like I've not really played with either of those, so it'd be really interesting to see what you can do with them. So if I go back to my media pool over here, I will drag this media over here. Okay, this is the point at which I discover that no, it doesn't like WebM files. So I probably need to find that. I know I've got the assets somewhere, so it's probably just a question of me finding that somewhere. In fact, if I go to one of these other sites, I can probably find it somewhere. Anyway, that might have to be a project for another time. But conceptually, like I could come in and sort of change these things, and it could even be a question of going, hey, I don't need those images, and I could delete them out there, but I could probably just as easily you know, change the blends and make that 0. So if I ever need to bring back in an image there, I can do that. But I don't necessarily need to have that in there. And even the logo there, I can adjust the blend to 0. I should probably change the text to cuteavalanche.com, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe for this one, I would literally have a couple of lines of text instead. But the great thing about this now is that I can hit play, it'll animate the things that it needs to animate and bring them onto screen. So there we go. I mean, I like the idea of that as a template, and I believe it is possible, depending on the properties that you're animating, to actually make this reusable. And you can literally just drag and drop it into a project, and then just, you'll have different properties which you can say make the text, for example, you know, a setting that people can easily change. So that's definitely something you can do. All right. Chantel saying vMix feels very TV grade live production. It's a bit of fun. Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's funny. In some ways, I've dabbled in Restream, StreamYard, but I've mostly, like, once I found OBS, I was just in love, and it's not for everybody, but it is for me. Like, it is definitely for me. I love it so much. It's so incredibly useful, and it can do so many things. And I guess it's the modularity of it that I can sort of, if there's no way of bringing people in, if there's no way of doing it built in, there's always a developer out there somewhere who's producing something that we can potentially work with. And I had been using Video Ninja to bring Sam into the stream, but the quality is really poor. And I think it might be a settings issue. And I am going to talk to Saeed at some point in the near future about looking at those settings together. But I did find a service, and one of our guests on the show from a long while ago actually recommended this. It's called ping.gg. And it sort of does very low latency sort of guesting, and you invite your guest into this room, and it'll give you a browser source code that you can bring into OBS or Ecamm or whatever. So it is a paid service, and it's not particularly cheap, but I'm just amazed at how good the quality is. So we're probably going to be using that for a little bit as well. And Chantel writes, it's a solid template, especially now that the slide-on speed and the bones are set up. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. There are so many options, and you can find the perfect one for you. Yes, it's we're sort of blessed and or cursed to have so many options right now. And I think for newbies, you kind of need just go with the easiest thing that's available and run with it, and just get some reps in. Because I think, and maybe my bias is because I am a computer nerd, and I've been a computer nerd since I was like 7 years old, and I'll date myself terribly if I tell you my first computer was a Commodore 64, but it literally was. And I used to create programs as a kid in Commodore 64 Basic, and I have the floppy disks, and they were actually floppy back in those days. I think they were 5¼ inch ones. But yes, yeah, in some ways, the tech is fun for me. I don't know that it's fun for everybody. And up until recently, and I don't want to really go on this rant again because I did so much of this yesterday, up until recently, we really loved StreamYard. And I still like StreamYard as a piece of software. I have no faith in the company that bought them out. So I'm just not recommending them anymore. And it's kind of sad because I literally have several plush Cuddles the Duck toys, and they sent me coffee mugs and all kinds of weird and wonderful things. But anyway. Part of me is very tempted to Google that, and a part of me thinks it's probably a bad idea, but that's good to know nonetheless. And Kiki writes that tech is fun. It's fun for some people. It's not fun for everybody, but again, you just need to find out what's gonna make life interesting for you. And as much as I've been ripping my hair out over DaVinci, QBasic, wow, that takes me back. I did Commodore 64 Basic, and I did a bit of Turbo Pascal on a black and white Mac, which we had at my high school. And was it Turbo? There are a few different variations of Pascal and Visual Basic and Delphi. Yeah, I'm so old, it's ridiculous. Chantel tells me that's totally safe to Google. It's just a really old IT company. Well, that's good to know. All right, cool. So again, I know this is not the most exciting banner in the world, but I did it, and it wasn't that painful. And again, I can sort of think about how I want to change that moving forward. And again, like I'm using this from a promo, but you could use this for anything. Like you could have different segments on your show. And I guess so far we've... What did we actually do last week? Oh, that's right. It's all coming back to me now. I made this thing. Like and subscribe. That's what we did last week. And today we made the banner. And I have a feeling there's probably some settings and some filters and some effects that I could put on that to make it even more animated. But I will go and watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos about DaVinci Resolve, and we'll see what we can do roughly this time next week. So thank you so much for being here. I know it's been a real pain because of the troubles I had actually starting the stream, and I don't know what that's about, and it's driving me nuts. And the thing that was weird is that I literally copied the event that I set up earlier, and I just did it again, and it worked perfectly the second time around, and I just have no idea why. And again, like we literally did the video and live streaming show yesterday through Restream, all the same settings, not a single problem, and then yet I come here on a Sunday Australian time, and I just hit the button and it's like the host name is wrong, and I'm like, it's not wrong. Like, what are you talking about? Yes, and Kiki, I know he's definitely subscribed already, but yes, you can hit that like button. And again, if you're interested in seeing how I created that little animation in DaVinci Resolve, you can go and watch the video from last week, the stream from last week. It should be on the channel there somewhere. And I guess the thing is about DaVinci Resolve is this is literally free software, so you will need a decent computer to run it. And like I said, it's about 3 gigabytes download every time they do an update, which is mind-boggling. So hopefully your internet's okay. But I do love that this is free, and I love it's powerful. And the thing about DaVinci Resolve is it has all these different tabs, and I've been living in this Fusion tab, which a lot of people will tell you is not the place to start. But essentially, we've got the media, we've got the cut, we've got the edits, the color, if you want to do color grading, Fairlight for audio, and deliver. And, you know, you can literally just drag in your clips here, and you can use the video transitions and effects and add some text on here. And I haven't done a lot of that, and I've been editing in Camtasia for a really long time, and as someone who does software tutorial videos, like it works pretty well for me. I kind of like it. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't have any support for those videos with transparent backgrounds. And at some point I was thinking maybe we could just have a green background and I could just tell OBS to chroma key that out. And I thought, yeah, it's not terribly efficient in terms of the resources. And again, on my computer, I probably could get away with it, but I kind of wanted something that's a little bit more portable. So that's kind of the reason why I have been living in Fusion. And I do love that it is free. You can pay for it. I think it's $500 or $600 Australian to purchase it outright. And the other thing you can do too is you can buy a speed editor device, which is almost like a little keyboard with a trackpad thing built into it. And I think that's only like $700 Australian, and you get the premium software sort of thrown in as well. So it's really good, and I guess it's definitely becoming a bit of a contender within industry. And it's kind of great for people doing serious like documentary or movie edits, but also just for people that want to get a little bit more technical with their video edits for content creation as well. And Chantel writes, I love how using free software now does not mean you were using second-rate software. Just so many options. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and obviously Adobe lives in this space as well. And I have a lot of feelings about that company as well. And Kiki is saying about $300 US that comes with the 2-seat license. Yeah, the currency conversion stuff is always going to be quite different. So, I mean, look into it if you want. But I guess the point is you don't really need to pay for it unless you want to. And I think a lot of people, even Saeed was saying in last week's stream that you know, he probably doesn't need to, but he'd like to support the company. So that's kind of an option as well. All right. He says, scratching his nose on camera. Well, I'm so glad I got to hang out with you guys, especially after that annoying start to the stream. And I don't know what's going on there, and it's driving me nuts. But we will attempt to do this again next week. I guess if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, it's at Learn LiveStreaming, so you can check that out. That's probably the best place to find me, although I am on LinkedIn as well, and I do try to share this stuff out as widely as I can, although it is incredibly difficult when people start, you know, breaking my events in video editing, video streaming software, but that's a rant for another time. I'm not going to do that. So have a lovely weekend. It's great to hang out with everybody, Chantel and Kiki and GB3 and Business Growth Ready. Like it's really nice because I used to go live every week and I would have nobody in the comments, and it took probably a solid 2 years to get to this point, if I'm being real. So it's so lovely to hang out with you. Again, there's a whole bunch of stuff on the YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, please do. But otherwise, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again very, very soon.